Guys, the past few days have all been about big tech, Elon Musk in particular. Twitter पे firings हो रही हैं, policy flip-flops हुए हैं, they're calling back fired employees और उसके बाद बहुत सारा criticism भी आया है. पर Twitter के against इस backlash ने एक company को biggest beneficiary बना दिया है जिसका नाम है Koo. The social media platform has reported a surge in numbers and of course downloads. But question ये आता है इस समय जब big tech में हर जगह firings चल रही हैं, चाहे वो Meta हो, चाहे वो Twitter हो और बाकी other big tech companies हो, क्या Koo भी अपने employees को fire करने वाला है? To answer that and more, we are now joined by Mayank Bidawatka, who is the co-founder of the Koo App.
Thanks for having me.
So Mayank, Musk के टेक ओवर ने Koo को कैसे इम्पैक्ट किया है? आपने किस तरह के सर्ज ऑफ नंबर्स देखे हैं Koo ऐप के ऊपर?
I think we've had our own path also because we cater to a larger India and we cater to a vernacular audience, an audience that wants to connect with each other in their native languages. The latest things that have happened has caused a lot of users to start looking for alternatives. I think the impact is something that we'll see even more in the coming few days and weeks. So advertisers have come on to us because we've scaled drastically in the last 2 quarters, right? And we're seeing advertisers from various categories.
और आप ये डेवलपमेंट को देखते कैसे हैं? मस्क टेकिंग ओवर ट्विटर, व्हिच इज वन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड्स बिगेस्ट सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स, ऑलमोस्ट लाइक अ डिजिटल टाउन स्क्वायर. आपने एक बहुत ही फायरी और पैशनेट लेटर भी लिखा था जिसमें आपने कोलोनियल हैंगओवर का मेंशन किया था. वुड यू लाइक टू एक्सप्लेन मोर अबाउट दैट?
As a country, we have a lot of potential, but we also live with a lot of doubts, right? And we're always seeking validation. That letter was a call to action for a lot of Indian entrepreneurs who have great talent, have big dreams, but stop doing what they feel like doing because they're seeking validation. There's no reason why we can't have global brands from India, made in India products, made for the world. How Twitter will do under its new owner, something that we need to wait and watch. It's a very powerful tool that's being used globally for free speech and to help people connect with each other. As a company, we have a very different angle, and we believe that people connect better in languages. With a lot of the moves that have happened at Twitter and are happening as we speak, where yesterday there was a tweet about him doling out advice on elections and who the Americans should vote for. I think the world will look for alternatives, will look for transparent and neutral alternatives.
I have to ask you this because you are part of the tech community and the social, and of course in the social media space. And big tech, it seems globally, not just in India, is finally waking up to a rude reality, which is that of shrinking growth, polarized political climates, and of course the resultant regulations from all across the world, and of course the layoffs. I mean, there's been Twitter, Meta, Netflix. There are reportedly more to come as well. Are you also looking at laying people off to sort of keep the ship stable?
That country is dealing with an inflation-led recession, which affects businesses that advertise on their platform. And that is what results in some calls like mass layoffs and things like that. Very luckily for us, we have a very strong domestic consumption story.
Changing tracks a bit, much is also being spoken about the verification mark on Twitter, the blue tick mark, Twitter Blue. Now that it's going to be paid, over and above, Twitter is planning to roll out a plan to launch the official tag to distinguish public figures, and secondly, to also somehow sort of fight impersonation. How do you see this move? And is this really a very efficient process?
There are smarter ways of getting it done than charging $8. Providing free self-verification. As a company, we're extremely transparent about our operations. We've even published our algorithms on our website. So we make these criteria public. We have 2 kinds of ticks. One is the eminent tick, which is provided to people of eminence who've done something worthy. And the second is the self-verification tick. That's a green tick that's provided to citizens for free. Any citizen that wants to prove their identity and let other users know that they are a genuine voice on the internet, we just enable them to self-verify themselves using their Aadhaar number within seconds. We don't believe that the internet is a land where you need to charge for fundamental rights. And for someone to prove their identity is actually a fundamental right.
And you think that can also fight the issue of bots on social networks?
Bots is something that gets created when you have email IDs. You can self-verify the users that have signed in using email IDs with the same self-verification process that I'm telling you about.
What, according to you, right now, is the biggest challenge that companies like yourselves are facing, social media platforms are facing? Is it misinformation? Is it verification? Is it monetization? Is it hate speech? Because we just saw what happened with Twitter. Elon Musk took over, and one of the world's biggest advertising group, IPG, told its clients to be on a wait and watch mode.
The biggest task that social media companies or biggest challenges that you've seen them face is around content moderation, right? As a company, we've been extremely clear that we are not here to create our own legal structures and slap our own legal understanding on millions of people that use our product. We want to follow the laws of the land. Large tech companies have been following their own frameworks.
I agree with your point when you say that legal framework of a country needs to be followed as against your own private legal guidelines or whatever they may be. But then, if you so how do you balance that fine line between following the law of the land and of course free speech?
As you would know, the legal structures are separate from a government, right? They decide even if a government is wrong. You cannot take matters in your own hand, otherwise we won't stop at a signal, right? We can't choose the laws that we want to follow and the ones that we don't want to follow. If you believe that the laws of a particular country are unjust, right, you have the choice of not operating in that country.
Right, right. And now coming to the other important question of monetization, because you spoke about monetization early in this interview. Now, this is one of the key areas for most platforms, and one of the major reasons why Elon Musk actually took over Twitter was because it was not able to monetize. You must have heard of Meta, Snap, Twitter are going to be focusing on creating a creators economy, or subscription-based models to sort of drive up revenues. So, आपका profitability का क्या plan है?
One thing we know for sure is charging people for fundamental rights that they need to have on the internet. It's not a great idea to charge them for that.
Will you ever charge users on Koo?
Am I going to charge you to speak your mind? Am I going to charge you for a verification tick that's freely available? Am I going to charge you to ask you to prove your identity? Definitely not. Right? I think there are other ways to make money, whether it's transactions in the app or whether it's driving value to brands.
Or I think आपके plans भी हैं to go abroad and to work on a single migrate button to actually help people who want to switch over from Twitter to Koo. और बाकी क्या features expect कर सकते हैं? Because इस space में अगर आप देखेंगे, चाहे वो chat based platforms हो या social media companies हो, सबका जो ध्यान है वो features expansion पे है.
For a lot of folks who are looking for alternatives and want to migrate, to find their existing network on Twitter back on Koo is very important, right? And we'll create ways in which users can do that, whether it's importing their tweets or it is importing the network that exists on Twitter.
आपके globally क्या plans हैं?
I think it's time to make our product available to a larger part of the world. It's a good idea to launch multiple global languages and invite a lot of people. So we've been available on the Play Store and App Store in 100 plus countries. What we haven't done is invited a lot of these people to start using us.
Mayank, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your insights on this entire development and of course whose plans are going forward in India and of course global.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.